I'm about to feed them to the sharks right now. Get them hype right now. Yeah. You know the ground is up. Yeah. Everybody that trains, you know the game. Yeah. So let's get it. Slap it up, bump it, and roll. Hey. Yeah, that's the way that it goes. Ain't no better way to better yourself in this game. You're feeling the growth. That's time on the mat. We put in the work. Believe it ain't easy, I know. But we train for the love of the game, the love of the art. Now slap it up, bump it, let's roll.
Welcome to episode 79 of the BJJ Campaign Podcast. My name is Jeff Boone. I'm an A3, blue belt, 3 stripes.
Phil Kors, A2, blue belt, 2 stripes.
And as Bernardo Faria would say, we had the huge honor of being on the BJJ Brick podcast this past week.
Yeah. So
or actually this coming week.
Early access for our listeners a week early.
That's what we bring you guys.
Today, Monday, which is actually going to be in the future, but it's releasing today. Their episode comes out, which I'm excited to listen to again. But yeah, that was the first jiu-jitsu podcast I ever listened to, and it was just cool to talk to him because you listen to him all the time, and you always hear him talk, and then to kind of join in was neat.
What, I shared that podcast with you the first time you came to class?
Came over your house.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
You recommended the book series in like 14 podcasts, and I was like, this guy is crazy.
Yeah.
So I was right.
You were right. You were right. But yeah, one of the things that whenever I transitioned to blue belt, I listened to episode 172, and that was when they had 6 black belts on there, and it was like Tim Sled and Bernardo Faria, James Klingerman. No, not James Klingerman.
No.
Not who else?
I don't know.
Whatever. There were 6 of them. But all 6 of them, whenever Byron asked them if they ever regretted promoting any of their students to blue belt, every one of them said that they never regretted any of their students. And I mean, this is Bernardo Faria. How many blue belts has he promoted? Thousands, probably. Wouldn't you think?
Sure.
Yeah. And so that kind of made me not take so seriously the any pressure that is kind of put on yourself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, that was the one we were referencing last week when we did it, because that one stood out to me. That's the probably at the time I heard it most impactful jiu-jitsu podcast. And I know you like the Rafael Lovato Senior podcast. That interview, you talk about that still.
Yeah, he was great, man. He was so good and just so interesting. The guy's a concert organist.
Yeah.
It was crazy, but he had a lot of good things on, training, being a good training partner and also taking care of your hands. I mean, obviously being a concert organist, that's super important for him to where he doesn't get any of those finger issues that a lot of people that do gi jiu-jitsu get,
It's hard to avoid.
What's that?
It's hard to avoid with the finger
sure.
stuff. My hands will start to hurt sometimes.
You love grabbing the gi really hard.
Just squeezing it. Yeah.
And Phil and I, just for everyone out there, if you're checking and reporting people, we are 6 feet apart. We put tape lines of we can't come any closer than that. So for the social distancing, but and I know everyone out there has been yearning to get back to training, and so are we. And so that's kind of what it inspired this episode, and that is really the appreciation for jiu-jitsu and what it brings to the community and what it looks like to have a great team.
Yeah, the appreciation for the team and all the people that you train with normally, And then I don't want to say you take it for granted necessarily, but you definitely didn't appreciate it like you do now,
Yeah. And if you're out there, and you haven't talked to your training partners and stuff, I recommend you do it, man. I was, being a salesperson, I can't really go out and go on sales calls to hospitals, right now, amidst this. So work's been a little slow, let's just say. And I got super bored. And yesterday afternoon, I just started calling training partners. I was like, hey, man, what's up? Chris Clemens was like, what? No, it was cool. Just because I just wanted to let them know, man, I miss you guys. I miss, hanging out. I talked to Talise. I talked to a lot of Mike. I talked to a lot of different ones, different training partners. And it's so important to keep that connection. And because you know what? It's just like every other thing that we've said about whenever you miss, for an injury or you're out of training for a prolonged period of time or anything like that. When you get back, you appreciate it. And like that, we're going to think back on this and be like, oh, yeah, that was a kind of a shitty time where we had to miss a month of training. But it'll be the same whenever we get back. Everybody's going to be struggling with the cardio. Everybody's going to be struggling in their own ways to get back in the routine of what we're doing. And it helps that our professor, John, has been doing remote classes and being able to at least participate in that manner.
Yeah. What was the most interesting part of the conversation that you had yesterday with everybody? What stood out?
I don't know, maybe the awkwardness that the conversation between Talise and I, because at some points in time he couldn't hear me and I couldn't hear him, and it was hilarious. I mean, because it wasn't an awkward conversation. It was just kind of funny. But he was saying that he was preparing his, because he has other hobbies besides jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
weird. Yeah. But he was like getting his workshop for his woodworking all in order and stuff to do projects. So
yeah, it's the time to do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, well, I mean, I would never do that and just call everybody like that. Maybe a text or something.
No, dude, you would never.
I just don't do that.
I know you would never do that. I was gonna FaceTime him, but then I was like, that's a little weird. Like, I would have done it if it was just me.
I'll FaceTime, but like I won't. Like, that would be the only people I'd call. The ones that I would be comfortable enough to FaceTime are the only ones I would call. So if you're out there and you're like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna call my training partners, I get it. I get it. Send them a text though.
So you send them a text. Stay in contact with them is, I guess, what it is. Stay in contact with your coach, your professor. Man, they'd love to hear from you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Thankfully we got out helping John move because of all this thing. You know what I mean? Just kidding, John. We would have helped. But yeah, let's talk about, we'll get back to the benefits of the team too. But let's just talk briefly about, the benefits that jiu-jitsu has to the surrounding community, right? I mean, if you look at the benefits of, University of Miami study on touch, where it actually physical touch, it helps to, release oxytocin and increases your immunity.
Yeah.
So it helps your immune system.
That's weird.
That's why we should be doing it right now. It reduces your blood pressure, overall healthier. It also reduces depressive symptoms and pain. So can you imagine if everyone was doing jiu-jitsu in a community?
How does it reduce pain?
I don't know. That's what it said. That was it was the University of Miami study at the Touch Institute or something.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot brought up from different people, that there's just not enough hugging going on. Mm-hmm. It's probably going to be less now because people aren't going to want to touch each other after this. For sure.
I mean, I don't think we'll ever shake hands again.
Yeah.
Which, whatever.
A guy came to
I bet Boomer's super happy about never having to shake another person's hand again.
The guy came to give a quote on like a deck thing at the house, and he came up and I wanted to shake his hand. He's like, we'll just fist bump. And I was like, all right.
That's
I just keep forgetting.
Yeah,
like, no. It's not, I don't know. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it good.
Yeah.
I was going to shake his hand.
Yeah. Yeah. I get
all his germs. But no, I've heard that before, that it helps with the the lack of touching or whatever is a contributing thing with depression and all that stuff. Don't have any like science to back any of that up, but
that was the science. The University of Miami study. Phil.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the science.
We're good. We're scienced up.
Yep.
We got it.
Yeah. We will not be publishing that data. But yeah, I mean, the benefit is if you have jiu-jitsu in your community and a lot of people are doing jiu-jitsu, you're going to have an overall healthier community.
Agreed. Yeah.
Right. I mean, less pain. Although the pain thing.
That's why I'm curious. Like, is it just because you get used to being in pain?
Jiu-jitsu.
Have you seen that meme where it's like, how much pain are you in? And they're like, the normal amount, and the normal amount 0. Oh,
yeah. Like, that's not usual.
Yeah. So I don't understand how it would affect the pain one. That one seems counter.
I don't know. Maybe that oxytocin is responsible for pain relief too. I don't know.
Huh.
I have no idea. I'm not, again, I didn't make these stats up. I just read them. It was actually, I read them in a 2019 Men's Health article, Men's Health magazine. And it was talking, this guy was reporting, he was from London. He was reporting, he started jiu-jitsu and he's doing an article on it in Men's Health, on the popularity of jiu-jitsu. And I thought it was super interesting. And he brought that study up. So,
yeah. Also, I just don't like, when you were talking about coming up with a topic, and I was just thinking about how I don't like doing solo drills, just makes you appreciate a partner.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I will have to say, in the remote classes, not having a warm up, it's pretty nice. Pretty nice. Warm-ups are fun.
I don't mind.
We need to do more we need to get on early and do warm-ups if we're going to do the class.
You think so?
Yeah.
Why don't you just warm up beforehand?
That's what I mean.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Warm up. Yeah.
I usually do the stretching, the movement stuff, mobility stuff.
Yeah. Sure. Yep. But those fundamental movements are important.
Yeah. Those ones are tough.
I even did side shrimps up and down the mat the other day.
Did you?
Yep.
I found out recently that
I'm myself for something. I don't know what it was.
I never go straight. I go towards my head. Like
I go towards my feet.
I get kicked in the head a lot when I do that up and down the mat. At first, I was like, "Oh, they're kicking me in the head," and I was like, "Everybody's always kicking me in the head. This is probably my fault."
For sure. If you don't know what we're referencing by side shrimp, just go look it up. It's miserable. It's a miserable exercise.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's terrible.
So
really good for you. I mean,
Yeah.
I imagine it's fantastic for your core because I'm exhausted after it.
I'm not tired. I just can't do it fast. That's probably why I'm not tired.
You're onto something, Phil.
No matter how hard I try, I'm like, oh, they're catching up again.
You wondered why you're always the last one out there?
Always the last one. I'm so slow. I don't know. I feel like I'm moving as fast as I'm going to rock back and forth. I don't know. It doesn't go any faster.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. So yeah, and too, it's not a bad idea, to have a community that knows how to defend themselves. Because if you know how to defend yourself, you're less likely to have to know how to defend yourself.
Yeah, they've talked about all the studies and stuff. I know AJ Klingerman always references with the women's self-defense stuff, just being like aware and the confidence you kind of have when you know a little bit, the changes, and then the likelihood someone even wants to bother with you basically kind of drops, which makes sense. Yeah. Yeah.
I was listening. I don't know why I'm bringing this up now, but I was listening to Grappling Central, Ryan Ford's podcast the other day, and he had Roy Dean on there. Did you know that in Japan, in high school, you're like required to do like either judo or archery or some sort of kind of martial discipline, Aikido. You're required to do that in school. Or he did a foreign exchange program and went to Japan. I thought that was super interesting. That would be awesome if they instituted that here.
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't know that. Never heard that.
Yeah. That's what is it that, is it Ricardo Vieira? He's trying to get that like mandated from physical education worldwide.
Yeah, I've heard somebody talking about that, like trying to get it in schools and things like that. And I've seen, there's a lot of posts like talking about if everybody had to do wrestling, just the, not necessarily like the cardio benefit, but like the mental and all the benefits of knowing a little bit of kind of how to defend yourself if something happened. And, wrestling's hard. So
Yeah.
kind of getting through that and getting used to terrible situations and trying to fight through it and figure it all out. Yeah. I mean, I've said it 10,000 times, but I wish I wrestled in high school, but I didn't,
Yeah.
I also had no idea.
I can't believe they didn't recruit you, especially as
They
small.
tried to. Yeah. They asked me to because I was small. Yeah.
Yeah, of course they would. Yeah, they would love you. What the hell's wrong with you, Phil?
Yeah. I was stupid.
Oh, you didn't listen to others? Is
No.
that what it was? That's
No.
shocking.
They like walked up to me. They're like, you're small and jacked. So obviously you'd be great at this. And I was like, no, thanks.
No thanks. I don't want to be a better person.
Yeah, exactly.
Not interested at this point in time.
I'll revisit this in like 12 years and then just regret it the entire time after that. So
Yeah, no, teaches you a lot of lessons. But for the community benefits, that a healthier community is a good thing.
and the other thing is like so many people that have the small businesses that kind of can go back and forth and support each other that way, especially now with all the stupid stuff going on where people are having to close and, it seems like the only places you can go to are the giant Walmarts and Amazon, to buy stuff. And, there's a lot of people in there that run their own business, and it's cool to see them go back and forth and support each other and kind of try to do that stuff through that aspect of the community as well.
Yeah, no, man. Just look at our academy. We've got a lot of small business owners that really support each other's businesses, and that's super important, man. I mean, it's super important, and that builds a sense of community as well. And then you look at like just the benefits of a diverse team, and that is, you're inevitably going to have a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, a salesman, what name that someone who has a pressure washing business, you're going to inevitably have that. So you can support that and also have that resource of somebody. Who do you trust more than your training partners?
Oh, I know. Yeah. I mean, the only friends I have are from jiu-jitsu. So it's, that's who I'm going to reach out to first, but I think most people are going to feel the same way. It's kind of weird how quickly you kind of become friends with people when you're training together, because there's a lot of trust that goes into it. There's one person's going to be better than the other, and they're going to have to take care of. I mean, everybody's got to try to take care of everybody, but the person who's better has the responsibility not to injure something. And it's like they have your arm all the way extended and you trust them to take care of you.
Yeah.
And it's super strong friendships seem to kind of come up quickly.
Tap, nap, or snap.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I said that. I don't know why it popped in my head. I think it's the coffee.
There's a lot of coffee.
It's the coffee.
A lot
is
of
what's
coffee
going
going
on
in here. Yeah.
But
I'm like tripping over my own words because my thoughts are going at like one speed and I'm trying to keep up with it. Yeah. And just so everybody knows, this is like the 43rd podcast we've done today because of the little bit of technical issues. So we've been going at it for a while here.
Yes, we have. But yeah, I mean, let's expand on that, because it does take a tremendous level of trust, and it really does have to be almost immediately, right? Whenever you have a training partner, I guess it's so funny because you don't really realize it when you first walk in the door, right? I mean, I don't think I did. I don't realize the level of trust that you have almost immediately. You can't, right? But yeah, I wonder when that, like, cause it's probably it's probably close to probably the first month or two, you probably realize that, I'm trusting these people and they're trusting me. I got to kind of not be crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it'll vary. I guess there's people out there that don't believe it works, which I think is weird, but I'm sure they come in and think that they can just do whatever, and then they start to realize they can't. And that's when they realize that they have to trust the person's going to not just abuse and break something.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. So, yeah, having a diverse team with a lot of different talents, it helps both on and off the mat, right? Because there's inevitably that somebody who's better at open guard or is better at passing guard, or and who you can kind of pair up with and pick their brain on what their thoughts are. I think that's why that diversity in team, diversity in builds, and tall, skinny, short, strong, that's really important to have that variety in training partners.
Yeah, and then you get to do different stuff with different people and work on different things, and whether by choice or not. I mean, if you're only able to do certain things and you're going to be on the bottom, then you got to work from there and learn. But then there's going to come the person that you're going to be able to do what you want to, and work on that stuff, and then kind of get in the groove with different people and working on all the different aspects of your game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I want to expand on that just a little bit, Phil, and that is, if you're out there and you're listening to this podcast, maybe you haven't been doing jiu-jitsu that long, maybe you have, but in most academies, I know in ours for sure, the person who's more experienced at jiu-jitsu is generally going to allow movement, motion, and progression with someone who's maybe not as good, to work on their defense, or just out of courtesy to see where that other person's at, and that sort of thing. So if you're out there and you don't think that somebody's giving you a position, or not giving, you earn the position because they're likely, if you don't do whatever it is that you're supposed to be doing right, they're probably not going to give you that position. Mm-hmm. But it's just that those upper belts, and I see it all the time, and I'm so appreciative of the fact that they trust me to get in those different positions, probably just because they're way better than me and don't really have a fear of anything. But yeah, man, that's one thing that I'm really appreciative for, is that those upper belts who allow you to work and allow you to get in those situations. And guess what? It might even mean that you tap them. Well, that's great. It's training. It's not competition. And, they might have allowed just a little too much, or maybe you're getting better at whatever technique that you've been practicing. If you've been taking the back lately and really working on your chokes a lot, and really working on your positioning and and holding that back position a lot, then it's going to be tougher for them to escape if your level's coming up on certain aspects of your game that you're working on. Yeah. So, I think that, I hope that everyone, I'm sure most people out there, 99% of people out there, realize that their training partners are giving them positions. Yeah. Not giving them, are allowing them work.
Training.
Yeah. Training. Yeah. That's a good point, Phil.
Yeah. I've been on the other side of that too, where it's like working with somebody like pretty new, and like you're letting them go. And then all of a sudden I'm like, man, I let that go way too far.
For sure.
So there's no coming back here.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I let Trey was getting his cross choking, and I was like, I'm going to defend it late. And I was like, nope. Tap. No way.
Yeah. More than a handful of times. I'm like, I'll just go. I'm going to work from here, and I can't work anymore. So.
There's no work to be done. Thank you.
Yeah. But that's where you find the boundaries and kind of try stuff in the areas that, when the person's way better than you, you're not going to do anything. So you got to, explore that at some point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And two, it's a lot of people have that. They're like, well, I'm just not that. I don't know. I'm sure that the upper belts don't get that much from rolling with me.
Yeah.
Incorrect. Right. Because they're practicing stuff, maybe their C game, that they want to improve upon. And they're starting with the people who are less experienced doing that.
Yeah. And we've talked about that a lot, because that was a thing I always said to you is I feel like I'm wasting your time. And now being on the other side where people are newer than me, that's where that's probably where I get a lot of my work that I need the most, because I don't like when I have the list of new things I want to explore, I can't do that with somebody who's better than me, because I'm going to do what they want to do. So,
right.
But, I always do. I have a list of things that I'm trying to work on, trying to, try out, see what I can make work, so that way when I roll with someone better, I can try it, and then see where it fails, go back and fix it on somebody that it will work on, and then go through the process of trying to tighten everything up. But, I remember thinking like, I'm just wasting their time because they're already better. Looking at it now, that was a lot of ignorance on my part, not realizing just how much stuff there is to work on, that there's no way they're done. Like, just because you're better, being better than me when I started was so insignificant. Like, that really didn't say anything at all. Like, there's so much that you needed to be working on. You could have done it for years, which you are. And you're not going to be done. But that's just because I didn't know how much was out there to be, done.
Well, and a lot of people don't know, and just know that, man. I mean, there's a lot of white belts, and there's a lot of white belts that quit, right?
Yeah. Well, and then I think the other thing too is it's like not being able to comprehend at that time. It's like, just because and I thought I would have it down, right? Like, I would do the scissor sweep in class and it would work when I drilled it. So I'm like, I know how to do it, and then you would do it to me and I'd be like, well, he already knows how to do that move. But I wouldn't understand that just because, again, it worked on me, which means basically nothing, that you weren't where you needed to be. And even if you could make it work, you could do the sweep successfully, get on top and be like, I still forgot that detail.
Yeah.
I didn't do that part.
Yeah.
So there's always that stuff to be kind of thinking about and working on. But obviously I didn't know that at the time, but I hope this makes sense to people who are newer, because I feel like I might have just kind of rambled in a weird circle, but I think it does.
No, I think it makes perfect sense. And also, I like that you mentioned the detail portion of it, because I can't remember who said, I think it was Bernardo Faria who said it. He was like, in competition, and that you practice the move to do it technically correct, because in competition you might have only 30% of that technical correctness, but the move still works, right? So to be able to focus with someone who has less experience than you on your technique when you're doing it, as you're doing it, and all the details, it's super important. It's really important, because then all right, well, here's where that broke down. And guess what? Yeah, I tried this scissor sweep, but it didn't work. And I knew that I was taking a chance at trying it, because I didn't have the sleeve grip or the elbow grip, or whatever grip you want to use for the scissor sweep on that.
Yeah. So. I mean, I guess too, if you think about the amount of times you're in the same handful of positions where you can do a billion things from, but you're still in those handful of positions all the time. And then you do that for 20 years, and then you try to explain it to somebody who's never seen it before, that person thinks, I've got it. And you're just sitting there. I can't even imagine with how many situations you've seen and actions and reactions to have all those, extra things where it's like, yeah, they mostly got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what too? And it's funny you bring that up, because I remember it was a while back whenever you said, You said, why didn't you ever tell me to tuck my leg back whenever you get in side control so they can't?
No, that's not what I said. I learned it. It was a couple months ago from Nick Sprito.
Okay.
Think like right after he got his black belt.
Uh-huh.
And I looked at you and I was like, dude, so when you're in side control, you just tuck your foot under your butt and they can't grab it. And you're like, yeah.
That's an old wrestling thing. Like that.
Why wouldn't you tell me that? Like, as soon as I find these things out, I can't wait to tell you. And you're holding this shit back. It's messed up.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not holding it back. Like I didn't. Those are things like from doing it so long. Like I didn't even realize that's a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I can. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't think about it. You just do it. It's the natural position. And to me, it was like mind blowing. And I was like, yeah, they keep grabbing my legs. You know.
That's great. That's great. Oh, we should mention that Role Model Camp up in Indianapolis has been rescheduled tentatively, I think, for August.
Okay. Just
for the listeners that have enrolled in that, I'm sure you've gotten plenty of. If you've enrolled, I'm sure you're well aware of what it was, because it was supposed to be next month, May 2nd, 3rd,
yeah, something like that coming up pretty soon. And if you haven't enrolled, I'm sure now you want to get out of the house.
For sure,
that'd be a good thing to go do.
Be a great thing, and I think it's the beginning of August is when it is, because it won't interfere with Worlds if they have it.
I was listening to one of their podcasts, and she said she rescheduled everybody but her sister or something like that, and her sister thought she got kicked out. But I just don't remember the dates.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. Anything else, Philly?
I don't know. What do you got?
No, I mean, it's listen, we're on COVID time. It's a little bit shorter podcast. We did a lot longer one last week with the BJJ Brick folks. So
yeah,
they'll get their money's worth.
I think that one was a good one. Covered a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. All right. Well,
maybe next time Gary will come on and join us. What do you think?
Probably.
Hope so.
I'll be bummed you missed out.
Yeah, we did get a little shot in it at him though. Whenever we made fun of him a little bit.
Gotta be careful.
Yeah, no, I hope to never grapple with him. He's really good from what I hear.
Yeah.
But so with that, tell the folks how they can support us if they choose to do so.
Share the podcast and leave a review.
Don't share it weirdly like I do with people,
Yeah. So when the quarantine is over, invite a new training partner to your house and put this one in a 14 podcast bundle that you text them all while they're standing right next to you. That would be the best way to help grow the podcast.
Yeah, well, that's what I do, Philly. And support the Role Model Camp. We already mentioned that date change. What is it? 10% off the BJJ campaign podcast.
Coupon code? Yeah.
Coupon code?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Facebook group is there too, which kind of sucks lately because nobody's doing any jiu-jitsu, so it's kind of hard to talk about it.
Yeah, Patrick, let's get some memes going in that bad boy.
Yeah.
Shout out to Patrick, the meme maker.
Yeah, he hasn't been at work, so he hasn't been doing any memes.
That's great. And if you're out there and you're not doing something to make yourself better each and every day, get out there and do it. Phil and I choose jiu-jitsu. We hope you do too.
I'm about to feed them to the sharks right now. Get them hype right now. Yeah. You know the ground is up. Yeah. Everybody that trains, you know the game. Yeah. So let's get it. Slap it up, bump it, and roll. Hey. Yeah, that's the way that it goes. Ain't no better way to better yourself in this game. You're feeling the growth. That's time on the mat. We put in the work. Believe it ain't easy, I know. But we train for the love of the game, the love of the art. Now slap it up, bump it, let's roll.